And as Riley Strain's family continues to grieve and stay on this mission for answers, support is growing for the so-called Riley Strain Act. We know more than 29,000 people have now signed a petition. That act would require bar staff to call a taxi or Uber for those intoxicated. Here now to discuss all of the new developments, attorney Dante Mills. Dante, thanks for staying with us on this.
Thank you for having me again.
A lot here to discuss. Let's just start with the Riley Strain Act, and then I want to move to some of the family's concerns. First of all, do you think something like this is likely to be enacted, really putting the onus on bar staff to get inebriated patrons home safely?
It's a very, very high burden, and I'll tell you, there's two hats that I have to wear when I'm talking about this case. First, as a father, right? I have children who are both in college. They're at the age where they're going out with their friends, and my heart breaks for this family. You want your kids to explore and enjoy the world, but your fear is that they won't make it home. So this family is grieving, but ultimately, or sometimes there's no one to necessarily blame. Things happen. And in this situation, you want to see, is there someone who could have done something different to prevent this from happening? I don't know legally, switching to my lawyer hat, if putting the onus on a bar to say anybody who leaves your establishment, you have a responsibility to get them home. How can you enforce that? What is the cost of that? Just practically, how can you enforce that? Now, there is something called the Dram Shop Act that if you know someone is driving and you allow them to leave or you continue to serve them while they're intoxicated, you can be held responsible for their actions. So there are some things that are in place that puts some pressure on bars not to serve intoxicated people, but to take that a step further and require them to make sure that someone gets home. If they're intoxicated, I just don't know if that's a burden that we can sustain for these restaurants. How can you continue to operate your business if you're going to be sued if something happens, if you have to take those kind of precautions to make sure that everybody you serve gets home safe?
Yeah, and Dante, I appreciate you talking about those two hats. I watched your face as we were playing, that portion of interview, and I could see the emotion and how it was hitting you on your face. Let's talk about this family. Let's talk about their concerns. They believe that investigators should have done more on the day and in the days after Riley went missing. They don't believe they've been told everything. They've gone as far as to say they think there's additional video that officials are just not showing them. Police have ruled his death as accidental. His family asking for a second autopsy. So Dante, with the time we have left, I want to go through this with you. They say things don't add up. They start with this text message that the mom received from Riley that night saying his drink tasted bad, that it tasted like barbecue, even though it was supposed to be a rum and Coke. They also point to the medical examiner not finding water in his lungs. Typically, someone is alive when they hit the water. They say there should be liquid in the lungs. Also, the examiner not finding cuts or bruises when he supposedly fell down an incline into the water. What do you make of all of this, wearing both of those hats?
Yes, again, as a parent, I'm always going to start there. That's the most important thing to me. You have to say, and they talked about his drink being spiked. They talked about whether or not he was somewhere and someone put something into his drink. Switching to the legal hat, it's almost impossible because they were bar hopping that night. He was with his fraternity brothers. They were going bar to bar. How can you nail down exactly where he got a drink from that may or may not have been spiked, especially when the toxicology results, they're not going to be that specific. The other thing that they're saying is that there should have been, his fraternity brothers should have done more once they knew he was intoxicated to make sure that he got home safe. And again, these are things that they're pointing to try to say, or to say, where could this have been prevented? But legally, I don't know if anything meets the burden to take this out of an accidental death.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.